Welcome to round 11 of the Banter Racing League on F1 2018, and we're here for the German Grand Prix in Hockenheim. And the Red Bull of Agonza took another pole position, and he grabbed it in a wet qualifying with a 121.5, no, 121.4 actually, a 121.453, and he got pole by only 1/10. So Agonza got pole by only 1/10. Sentry and P2 for Mercedes ahead of combined in third his teammate for Red Bull. Wattmaster returns to the league for Sauber in fourth place. Lucky Racer in fifth for Haas, ahead of Vladimir Jagger in sixth for Mercedes, and then Ventrox and Ivan, who also returns to the league. Then Fazrul in ninth, Wesley in 10th, Cryptox 11th, Taboom 12th, and Rantix 13th. Here we are, starting the formation lap in this German Grand Prix. Agonza starts from pole, see a Sentry and combined behind him. Coming into turn 1, Agonza leads his formation lap. It is going to, if Agonza wins today, it'll be his sixth win of the season, and he'll continue to lead the championship, as he obviously won his fifth race in Austria, and strategical error in Britain, making him finish in 8th place in that particular race last time out in Silverstone. And Sentry took his first proper win in Silverstone. A very dominant win as well, that one was. On board with combined in P3. And obviously Sentry had lost a win in Monaco due to a penalty, which gave Wesley the win. And in Britain it was his first proper win, so let's hope that that will not happen, like there'll be an incident in lap 1 again like that. Because that incident in Monaco wasn't lap 1, it was with the guy on screen combined. As now here we are, coming onto the straight, and we are lining up for round 11 of the season here in Germany. And Agonza started lining up on the pole position, Sentry in P2 ahead of combined third, Wattmaster fourth, Lucky Racer in for Haas on the grid now. As we get ready for the start now. And here we go for the lights for this round 11 in Germany. And it's away we go for the German Grand Prix. Agonza gets a pretty decent start, and Sentry's pulling alongside him. But into turn 1, Agonza leads. Into turn 1, Sentry is P2 for Mercedes. Combined keeps third for Red Bull. But Wattmaster is being challenged by the Mercedes behind of Vladimir Jagger. He goes up the inside. Jagger tries to go up the inside, but he doesn't quite get the move there. But now here we go, coming down onto the back straight. Vladimir Jagger and Wattmaster are side by side. A Lucky Racer gets past Vladimir Jagger as well, and Lucky Racer's moving to the inside of Wattmaster, coming into the hairpin, and Ventrox gets past in the Force India around the outside of the hairpin of Jagger. So good action on the straight on the first lap into the hairpin, and now here comes Jagger alongside Ventrox, and Ventrox cuts him off, but now here comes Jagger up the inside into turn 7, and gets past Ventrox on the inside, moves back up into P6, so it's been a bad start for the Mercedes of Jagger, but it's been a pretty decent start for Wattmaster, moving up from 4th to 3rd, or is it stayed stayed 4th at this point, but he might get 2nd or 3rd from combined Sentry. Here we go, starting lap 2 of the German Grand Prix. We have Agonza leading from Sentry in 2nd, combined in 3rd, Wattmaster 4th, Lucky Racer 5th, Vladimir Jagger in 6th, and then Ventrox, and then Wesley, and then Cryptox, and then Rantix, and then Fazrul, and then Taboom. But now here is combined with the slipstream on Sentry coming down towards the hairpin. Is he going to go up the inside? He's going to dive up the inside. Yes, he is. Combined having a little look up the inside. There's a little bit of contact. Combined to Sentry now side by side, coming down towards this flat out right hander. Sentry holds it around the outside after combined cut the corner a little bit there, and Sentry holds on to 2nd place. So this is going to be a nice battle between Sentry and combined now. And now here we are on board with Wattmaster in the Sauber on lap 2, starting lap 3 of the German Grand Prix. And Agonza continues to lead this race. He is currently dominating it. But this train in the battle for 2nd place is continuing. Agonza pulling away from the train. The Sentry is causing all this train. But now Combined gets some good traction out of the turn 2, and now has DRS on Sentry. DRS is now available as it's lap 3, and Combined goes to the inside of Sentry, and he's going to move up into second place, and it's going to be a Red Bull 1-2, but Combined is on the inside. Sentry goes for the switchback, but not quite there. Combined gets into second place for Red Bull. It's currently a Red Bull 1-2. Agonza leading from Combined, but now Sentry tries to look back up the inside. Does not quite get the move. Sentry drops down to third. Wattmaster fourth. And Lucky Racer behind in the Haas in fifth place. Is now on board with Wattmaster again at the beginning of lap 4 of this German Grand Prix. And the battle continues between Combined and Sentry. Here we go. Sentry has DRS. Wattmaster also has DRS. Is now coming down towards the hairpin. Combined defends the inside and now goes back to the outside, so he's moved twice in the braking zone, and Sentry has slightly hit him there, and Sentry runs wide. That's going to bring Wattmaster on the inside, and Wattmaster gets into the podium places on his returning race in the league. His last race was Spain, and now he's just come back, and Sentry has hit the back of Wattmaster there. So that's because Sentry had damage thanks to the defending of Combined there. Could that be investigated by the stewards? We'll see about that. It actually was, and I don't know, to be honest. Could be Combined because he obviously defended aggressively. He defended twice, and now on board with Combined once again off the start. We saw it already off at the beginning of the video. Combined start, but we're going to see it again. And he actually ran wide out turn 1 and got a warning for exceeding track limits for some reason. As now here we are at turn 2, and Combined slipstream Sentry, but didn't have enough of it to go past him into the hairpin on lap 1. So actually had a little look up the inside there, but look how close he was, and look at the action behind there. Lucky Racer trying to go up the inside of Wattmaster. And Jacob was getting involved in that as well, so we saw that from Wattmaster's POV, and here is Wattmaster's point of view in the Sauber. He got a pretty decent start, but the second phase was not quite that good. He lost out to Combined a bit there. As now coming down towards turn 1, you can see all the drivers behind. So Jagger dive bombs Wattmaster into turn 2. That was quite interesting there, and Jagger actually got ahead of Wattmaster briefly, but I had to let him pass because they were an illegal overtake. And then there was a little bit of lag, which sent Lucky Racer past Jagger. Yeah, Lucky Racer past Jagger, and now Lucky Racer up the inside of Wattmaster into the hairpin. Now that was some overtaking madness there. So it's actually the exciting first 4 laps of this race. Is now on board with Vladimir Jagger off the start. And here we go. So, I don't know why there was like a formation lap there, but it's now. Here we go, the 5 lights, and he had a pretty decent start there. Lucky Racer didn't get the greatest of starts there. He moves up immediately to P5. Lucky Racer goes back around the outside, but off the track. So obviously has to let him pass there for sure. As now here is Jagger's dive bomb on Wattmaster. It was actually quite effective, to be honest. But as you can see, Jagger actually went off track there, and that's why he got an illegal overtake on Wattmaster. So he had to let him pass, and you can see a little bit of lag sent Lucky Racer past Jagger. And Ventrox also got ahead of Vladimir Jagger in the Mercedes. And he dropped down from 6th to 7th. So that was pretty bad for the Mercedes there. And you can see Jagger back up the inside of Ventrox there. And he got that move done, so pretty decent move. As now here is the onboard from Cryptox off the start here in Germany. And Fajrul got a very bad start there. That was actually because he was desynced off the start. Again, like in Austria, but it wasn't as bad. As Cryptox keeps it cautious into turn 1 behind Wesley. As now into turn 2, he actually looks up the inside of Wesley there, and you can see all the action in front. Ivan tried to go up the inside of Ventrox, but it wasn't quite there. And
what the fuck?
So Cryptox just staying behind all this, all these battles. Wesley just ahead. And we can see Rantix behind. Up the inside he goes into the Toro Rosso. Rantix gets that place on Cryptox. He got that place on Cryptox into 10th. And Cryptox dropped down to 11th. So that was a very good move from Rantix. As now moving on to lap 5. Sentry has retired from the race. On lap 5, what has gone on? What has happened to Sentry in the Mercedes? As now here is Vladimir Jagger now. He is chasing down Wattmaster in the Sauber. Is he going to get... obviously Wattmaster and Jagger fought in Spain for a bit. Can they fight again? Here comes Jagger into the hairpin. And Combined is getting pressurized by Wattmaster. So Wattmaster could pass him soon. And Sentry obviously almost glitched the lobby to make it... he left the session, of course, but he was the host of the session at the time. So it was a host migration when he left the session. As now here we are on board with Fazrul. This will tell us with Sentry's retirement. And Sentry spun out on the exit of the final corner, and he actually retired on purpose there because he gave up his race. So that's probably related to the front wing damage he got from Combined, and he's defending. And he just made a mistake on the last corner and spun round, so he just gave up on his race. Meanwhile, here is Wattmaster, much closer to Combined. Is he going to get this place into turn 2? Here he goes, coming now onto the DRS straight. Wattmaster has DRS on Combined. Is he going to go to the outside? Combined tries to defend his best, but Wattmaster absolutely shoots past him and gets into second place. Into the hairpin, he gets ahead of Combined. As now here is Lucky Racer ahead of Jagger, and he moves up into 4th place. So Combined and Wattmaster battling, and Lucky Racer and Jagger battling right now for 4th place in this race. Could that become 3rd place once the leaders pit? We shall find out about that one. And moving on to lap 8 now. And Jagger is still behind Lucky Racer. And we have Ivan behind Jagger in the other Haas. So we have both Haases in the race. And now here is Ivan with DRS. He has a slipstream. He's going to go to the outside and speeds past Vladimir Jagger. And Ivan gets up into 5th place. Ivan Megayazros in the Haas has gone up into 5th place. And a very easy move with DRS on the straight just before the hairpin. So all the overtaking today has been on the on the Parabolica straight, just before the turn 6 hairpin. So that's where most of the overtakes will be today for sure, because that is a longer straight on the track, so you can actually make some nice DRS moves. On board with Fazrul on lap 10 of this German Grand Prix. He is behind Wesley. Coming into turn 2 and turn 3. Here we go into the Parabolica straight. And Fazrul has DRS on Wesley. He's going to go to the inside of him. Coming down towards the hairpin, and there's yellow flags. And Thaboom in the other Ferrari has retired on the straight. He's managed to crash on the straight somehow. There's now Fazrul on the inside of Wesley, and he gets up into 9th. So a good move from Fazrul on the inside there in the Renault. Gets up into 9th. As now here we go, on board with Combined. And there is the boom ahead. This will explain why he retired. As now Thaboom is actually trying to pull over to the side of the track to let Combined through. And actually hits the inside wall. No, not the inside wall. He just turns into the wall. And crashes himself out of the race trying to let Combined through the blue flags. That is one of the stupidest ways to retire. So much for that race ban he got in Germany. He raced today because he found it fun to race in Germany and just crashed out anyway. So there's not really a point to race there. Meanwhile, here is Ivan to the outside of Combined, and he's going to speed past him as well. So another overtake onto the straight just before the hairpin, and Ivan gets up into 3rd place in the Haas. So the other half of Lucky Racer is behind Combined now. Will the 2016 championship rivals from Season 2 battle it out again? Or is Combined going to battle with Ivan in his returning race? Ivan, of course, has been absent for the first 10 races this season. And is back into the league in this race here in Germany. As now lap 14 of this German Grand Prix, Jäger has got closer to Lucky Racer. As now there is a car on the side of the track at the Sachs curve, and it's Rantix, who is also deliberately retired, just like Sentry. So he is spun out as well, just like Sentry did. And he is also retired deliberately. So I don't know what it is with deliberate retirements, but they got away with it, so it's all good in that sense. Lap 15 now, and this is where everyone will pit for the mediums because they started the softs due to a wet quali. And now coming into the pits, Vladimir Jäger and Combined and Wattmaster and Ivan probably, and Agonza as well. As now into the pits. Now Combined very slow into the pits because his teammate Agonza was also in the pits, so they had to double stack. And because of that, Combined has lost a lot of time, and Jäger has actually got ahead of him in the pit lane. So Jäger's moved up into 5th place. Meanwhile, Lucky Racer has actually got ahead of him out of the pit lane. So Lucky Racer pitted a lap earlier on lap 14 and actually undercutted Jäger. But Lucky Racer immediately got past Wesley, who has not pitted yet. Actually, he did pit, but he also probably pitted 1 lap earlier, like Lucky Racer did. On to lap 17 of the German Grand Prix, and Jäger's getting closer to Wesley, coming down into turn 2. As now here we go into turn 3. Very good traction from Jäger. He's going to go to the outside of Wesley with DRS, and it's a very easy move there for Jäger. He gets up into 5th place. So it is a battle for 3rd place between these two, because you have Ventrox who stayed out, and he is in 2nd place. But he has stayed out on the soft tires for another lap. So this will be a battle for 3rd place between Lucky Racer and Jäger. And it'll be a battle for 4th, maybe, between Jäger and Combined, but we'll see. Here we go. Here is Combined gaining on Wesley, coming down towards turn 1 and 2. And into turn 2, 3rd gear is taken there. Lap 18, we have about 16 laps to go here in Germany. As now DRS is available for Combined. Wesley defends the inside line, but he's going to go to the outside line, coming down towards the hairpin. And Combined breaks his latest, but Wesley dives back up the inside and tries to get the position, but Combined has got it into 6th place, around the outside into turn 7. And into the left-hander at turn 8. So Combined finally gets past Wesley after being 1 lap stuck behind him after the pit stops, and he moves up into 6th place. Here we go, lap 19 of this German Grand Prix, and Vladimir Jäger is gaining on Lucky Racer a bit in the battle for P3. Here we go, this is going to be a good battle towards the end of this race. What's going to happen? We will find out. Look at this, Vladimir Jäger gaining on that Haas. You can see the Haas is getting closer and closer to the front of him. So he's definitely going to overtake him soon. This is going to be another battle between Lucky Racer and Vladimir Jäger here. They had a battle in Austria, of course. And they had a small battle in Silverstone. And they also had a battle slightly in... what was it? I think also in France a bit as well, but not really, to be honest. Anyway, on lap 20, Jäger continues to gain. 1.5 seconds is the gap between Lucky Racer and Jäger. Is now into the Sachs curve and the stadium section. And the final two corners of this Hockenheim lap, and starting lap 21 now of the German Grand Prix, Jagger is quite close now. 1.2 seconds now is the gap between the two of them. So Jagger is gaining a few tenths per sector. So this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a very interesting battle. What will happen in these last few laps of the race between Vladimir Jagger and Lucky Racer in the Haas? Coming through onto the straight into the hairpin, and we didn't quite see the sector split there, but it was definitely closer than what it was for sure, because Jagger is really gaining on Lucky Racer now. As now coming into turn 7 and turn 8, the Mercedes Stadium. As now moving on to lap 22, and look at that, Vladimir Jagger has gone right up to the back of the Haas of Lucky Racer. This is going to be a good battle on the next few laps of this race. Here we go, coming into the stadium section, the Sachs curve. And the sector split now, well, 5.6 seconds is the gap between Combined and Jagger. But Ivan is also catching Combined, so this will be a nice battle between the Red Bull and the Haas. So both Haases are being involved in a battle. Ivan being involved, battle with Combined right now, and Vladimir Jagger in a battle with Lucky Racer. So here we go, lap 23 of this race. And the reason Ivan just dropped so far back, because he's right in front, he actually spun out at the Sachs curve. So that is why he dropped behind Combined and Jagger and Lucky Racer. So here we go, Vladimir Jagger has DRS into the hairpin, but he's too far back to make the move into the hairpin at turn 6, lap 23. We have 11 laps to go, with rain coming in at the end of this race, which will make it more interesting for sure, hopefully. But look at that, he's so close to the back of him. Jagger is very close to the back of the Haas of Lucky Racer. Here we go, coming down towards the stadium section once again. As now on to the beginning of lap 24 here in Germany. The battle continues between Lucky Racer and Jagger. The DRS is available for the Mercedes. He's going to go up the inside into turn 2. Here he goes. Looking up the inside, there's a little bit of space given by Lucky Racer, but Jagger does not make that move stick. But now here we go with DRS again. Vladimir Jagger has a slipstream on the Haas of Lucky Racer. He's gaining and gaining. He's going to go up the inside into the hairpin. Is he going to make this stick on the inside for third place? They are side by side through the hairpin, and Lucky Racer holds on to the place, but they are side by side through the front out king at turn 7. Lucky Racer has the inside line into turn 8 and holds on to the podium places. Well, it holds on to third place, the final podium place. A good battle now is ensuing between the Haas and the Mercedes. Meanwhile, here is Ivan having DRS on the Red Bull of Combined. Here we go. Ivan has DRS. He's going to go to the outside. Combined defends the inside line. Ivan goes to the outside line, but now into the hairpin. Combined is the inside line, tries to outbrake him, but now they are side by side coming down towards the king again, just like Vladimir Jagger and Lucky Racer were. And Ivan is the inside line into turn 8, and Ivan gets the move into 5th place. So very nice action in the straight here on lap 24, and now onto lap 25 of the German Grand Prix. The battle continues between Jagger and Lucky Racer. Here we go, coming onto the straight, and DRS is available once again for the Serbian in the Mercedes. And the Hungarian in the Haas has not got DRS, so he's going to have to defend, but he's way too far back on lap 25 to make a move. There's going to be a challenge from both of them, from both Combined on Ivan and Jagger on Lucky Racer every lap. Combined getting closer to Ivan. He doesn't quite get the move there. Very close to hitting his rear end. But they keep their positions for now. Both battles keep their positions. is now coming to turn 7, the kink, and now we have 9 laps remaining here in Hockenheim. It's a great battle between 4 good drivers in the history in this league. 4 good drivers. Vladimir Jagger and Lucky Racer are usually rivals and have not had nice battles in the past. And Ivan has not really battled with Combined much, but they're both really fast drivers too. Lap 26 now, and Ivan has, Combined has now got DRS on Ivan. He's going to go to the inside. He's gaining and gaining on the straight, and he's now got the slipstream. He's going to try and commit up the inside. Combined goes up the inside of the Spanish driver, Ivan, and actually a bit of contact was made there. Forced Ivan to go off the track at the hairpin, but Combined let him past on the exit of the hairpin. So that means that Ivan and Combined will continue to battle on the next lap, possibly at the same place. Lap 27 starts. Jagger's very close now to Lucky Racer again, but he's going to get past him into the hairpin again, just like the attempt on lap 24 that Jagger made on the Haas. Here we go, the battle continues between the 2 drivers in the battle for the final podium place. Here we go, I think Lucky Racer is currently defending with overtake mode on the ERS, but Jagger is actually looking to the outside, trying to go for a switchback maybe, but not quite there. Meanwhile, back to the battle with Ivan and Combined, the battle for 5th, and Combined is gaining on Ivan. He defends the inside, and Combined goes to the outside. And this could be Ivan having the inside line into the hairpin, and yes, it is. Now Combined gets some good traction out of the hairpin, and now they're almost wheel to wheel through turn 7, and not quite there. And Combined has a little look up the inside into turn 8, but doesn't quite get the move still there. So very good battle between, obviously, the battle for 3rd and battle for 5th, happening at the exact same time. And they're both good battles. They're both very good battles to watch. Meanwhile, here we are with DRS. Jagger is going to try and challenge him again. Lap 28. 6 laps remain here in Germany. Is Jagger having a little look up the inside like a few laps ago? No, he isn't. As now Jagger has DRS onto the straight once again. Here we go. The DRS is available. Rich Mix is available also for Vladimir Jagger. But is Lucky Racer going to defend the inside line this time? He's getting closer and closer. He's going to go to the outside. And there's contact between them. And they're both out. They are both out. They've had a collision. Jagger is out. And Lucky Racer's out as well. They are both out of the race. The battle for 3rd has ended with a crash between them both. That means that Ivan has been promoted to 3rd place with Combined in 4th place. So if Ivan gets overtaken by Combined in the next few laps, this could be the Red Bull driver's 3rd podium in the season, after getting a podium in Canada and in Spain, where he got 2nd place. Meanwhile, here is Cryptox behind Fazrul, and actually that was interesting there from Fazrul. He actually stopped on the racing line and forced Cryptox to go into the gravel. But unbelievable! Vladimir Jagger and Lucky Racer came together just before the hairpin, and they have both crashed out of the race. That is just dramatic. That's unbelievable. We have never seen them collide in this kind of thing before. Lucky Racer has never crashed out of the BRL League races, but that's the first time he has. And Vladimir Jagger obviously has not done so for a long time. And Ivan makes a mistake in the pits, and that means that Combined is going to overtake him into the pit lane. They are changing onto the intermediates because it's starting to rain now. And this is where the wet period started. It was at the very end of the race, as I said. And on lap 31 it has started. But Ivan is now in the pits also for Inters, and that means Combined is in 3rd place. Just been promoted by the dramatic incident between Vladimir Jagger and Lucky Racer. after their thrilling battle came to an end after an incident. Just a racing incident, I think, but it was just very surprising. Here we are with Cryptox. He actually retired from the race. Here we go. He actually lost it on the entry, on the exit curve out of turn 1, and just completely lost control of the car and went straight into the wall. But he has completed 90% of the race distance, so he will get his points. He will get points today, the Force India driver. And here is Wattmaster. He is actually pitted a lap later than Combined and Ivan, so that's quite interesting. Agonza and Wattmaster have pitted 1 lap later than Combined and Ivan, so that's pretty interesting. And that Vladimir Jager and Lucky Racer crash will be talked about for a long time, because that was a controversial crash between those two. It was just a nice, clean battle between them, and then they just collided. So, exit now. Well, things happen. It's just racing between those two, but it was just pretty unnecessary. Even though it was really a racing incident, it wasn't really anyone's fault, because Jager committed to making the move, and Lucky Racer didn't really turn into him. So, if it was anyone's fault, it was probably... I don't know if it was anyone's fault. There's just no one at fault, literally. Like, Lucky Racer was defending the inside, and Jager just committed to the move. And it's like he lost it with DRS open. Meanwhile, in the end of the wet period was quite boring. It was just like anticlimactic end to the race after the crash between Jager and Lucky Racer. And Agonza now is going to come round the last 2 corners. It's going to be a 6th victory for him in the season, and it's going to be another win for the championship leader. And Agonza is going to cross the line to win in Germany for the German Grand Prix in Hockenheim. His 6th win of the season, and he's guaranteed now to win the championship after Vladimir Jager's DNF. Wattmaster crosses the line in his first race back in the league in 2nd place, and Combined crosses the line for his 3rd podium of the season after getting one in Spain and in Canada, and he gets one today in Germany. And Ivan crosses the line for 4th place for Haas, his first race back in the league as well, and he finishes a great 4th place. Ventrox in the Force India after his teammate Cryptox crashed out on lap 31 just before the wet period, and Ventrox is going to finish and get the points for Force India, and he's going to finish in 5th place. So it's a very decent performance from Ventrox in his home race. There are a lot of Germans in this league. Here is Fajal in the Renault. He's going to finish in his best result, his best finish of this season as well. 6th place for the Renault. It actually could have been a lot better. There were quite a lot of times where it could have been so much better. It could have been a podium in a couple of races. Maybe even a win when it comes to China. Here is Wesley, the final finisher, in 7th place for Ferrari. And that is it for the German Grand Prix. A chaotic race, an eventful race, especially when Jager and Lucky Racer collided. That was the most dramatic moment of the race. We did not expect it between such 2 very clean drivers who have such nice battles. And I didn't expect them to collide, to be honest with you. That was a very interesting crash. So Agonza celebrates his 6th win of this season. It's just been a dream for him, to be honest with you. This season, it's just been a cruise in this race. He's led every single lap, including his pit stop laps, and he got pole position. So, yeah, that's a pretty good... He didn't get fastest lap though, so... Agonza wins the race, his 6th win of the season. Wattmaster is in 2nd place with Sauber 4 seconds behind. Combined with his 3rd podium of the season in 3rd place, Ivan on his returning race finishes 4th. Ventrox in 5th for Force India. Ahead of Fajal in 6th for Renault. Then Wesley in 7th for Ferrari. And then the DNFs were Cryptox, Lucky Racer, Jager, Rantix, The Boom, and Century. And Cryptox will get points. the championship standings. Agonza leads by 52 points, so that's a huge margin. That's the equal to 2 victories, plus 2 points. Vladimir Jagger is in second, ahead of Combined in third. He moves up to third after Century dropped down to fourth, and Lucky Racer in fifth, then Wattmaster sixth, then Wesley seventh, then Ping Too High in eighth, Fazral ninth, Ventrox 10th, Addy 11th, and Cryptox 12th, Savage, then Ivan, then Rantix, and then Harry, and then Thaboom. That was a very eventful German Grand Prix and some drama towards the end. Next race will be in Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix. So see you then.